Kim Jong the second, also transcribed as Kim Jong-il, and born Yuri Isenovich Kim, was a North Korean politician who was the second supreme leader of North Korea from 1994 to 2011. He led North Korea from the 1994 death of his father Kim Il-sung, the first supreme leader, until his own death in 2011, when he was succeeded by his son Kim Jong-un. In the early 1980s, Kim had become the heir apparent for the leadership of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK, and assumed important posts in the party and army organs. Kim succeeded his father and DPRK founder Kim Il-sung following the elder Kim's death in 1994. Kim was the General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea, WPK, WK Presidium, Chairman of the National Defense Commission (NDC) of North Korea, and the Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army (KPA), the fourth largest standing army in the world. Kim ruled North Korea as a repressive and totalitarian dictatorship. Kim assumed leadership during a period of catastrophic economic crisis amidst the dissolution of the Soviet Union, on which it was heavily dependent for trade in food and other supplies, which brought a famine. While the famine had ended by the late 1990s, food scarcity continued to be a problem throughout his tenure. Kim strengthened the role of the military by his Songun military-first policies, making the army the central organizer of civil society. Kim's rule also saw tentative economic reforms, including the opening of Kaesong Industrial Park in 2003. In April 2009, North Korea's constitution was amended to refer to him and his successors as the supreme leader of the DPRK. The most common colloquial title given to Kim during his lifetime was Dear Leader, to distinguish him from his father Kim Il-sung, the Great Leader. Following Kim's failure to appear at important public events in 2008, foreign observers assumed that Kim had either fallen seriously ill or died. On 19 December 2011, the North Korean government announced that he had died 2 days earlier, whereupon his third son Kim Jong-un was promoted to a senior position in the ruling WPK and succeeded him. After his death, Kim was designated the eternal General Secretary of the WPK and the eternal Chairman of the National Defense Commission, in keeping with the tradition of establishing eternal posts for the dead members of the Kim family. North Korean media also began referring to Kim as the general, similar to his father's posthumous designation as the eternal president. Soviet records show that Kim Jong II was born Yuri Isenovich Kim, Russian. In literature, it is assumed that he was born in 1941 in either Camp of Vyatotsky near Khabarovsk or Camp Vashilivy near Nikolsk. According to Lim Jae-cheon, Kim cannot have been born in Vyatotsky, as Kim Il-sung's war records show that he arrived at Vyatotsky only in July 1942 and had been living in Voroshilov before. Thus, Kim Jong-il is generally agreed to have been born in Voroshilov. Kim's mother, Kim Jong-suk, was Kim Il-sung's first wife. Inside his family, he was nicknamed Yura, while his younger brother, Kim Man-il, born Alexander Isenovich Kim, was nicknamed Shura. According to his official biography, Kim completed the course of general education between September 1950 and August 1960. He attended primary school number 4 and middle school number 1, Namsan Higher Middle School in Pyongyang. This is contested by foreign academics who believe he is more likely to have received his early education in the People's Republic of China as a precaution to ensure his safety during the Korean War. Kim Jong II officially joined the Workers' Party of Korea in July 1961. He rose up the ranks during the 1960s and benefited greatly from the Kapsan faction incident around March 1967, which was the last credible challenge to Kim Il-sung's rule. This incident marked the first time Kim Jong-il was, at the age of 26, given official duties by his father, when his younger Kim took part in the investigation and purges that followed the incident. By the time of the 6th Party Congress in October 1980, Kim's control of the party operation was complete. He was given senior posts in the Presidium, the Military Commission, and the party secretariat. When he was made a member of the 7th Supreme People's Assembly in February 1982, international observers deemed him the heir apparent of North Korea. Prior to 1980, he had no public profile and was referred to only as the party center. At this time, Kim assumed the title Dear Leader, and the government began building a personality cult around him, patterned after that of his father, the Great Leader. Kim was regularly hailed by the media as the fearless leader and the great successor to the revolutionary cause. He emerged as the most powerful figure behind his father in North Korea. On 8 July 1994, Kim Il-sung died at the age of 82 from heart attack. King Jong II had been his father's designated successor as early as 1974, named commander-in-chief in 1991 and became supreme leader upon his father's death. Kim had a reputation for being almost comically incompetent in matters of economic management. The economy of North Korea struggled throughout the 1990s primarily due to mismanagement. In addition, North Korea experienced severe floods in the mid-1990s exacerbated by poor land management. This compounded with the fact that only 18% of North Korea is arable land and the country's inability to import the goods necessary to sustain industry led to a severe famine and left North Korea economically devastated. Faced with the country in decay, Kim adopted a military-first policy to strengthen the country and reinforce the regime. On the national scale, the Japanese Foreign Ministry acknowledged that this has resulted in a positive growth rate for the country since 1996, with the implementation of landmark socialist-type market economic practices in 2002, keeping the North afloat despite a continued dependency on foreign aid for food. Kim was known as a skilled and manipulative diplomat. In 1998, South Korean President Kim Jae-jung implemented the Sunshine Policy to improve North-South relations and to allow South Korean companies to start projects in the North. Kim announced plans to import and develop new technologies to develop North Korea's fledgling software industry. As a result of the new policy, the Kaesong Industrial Park was constructed in 2003 just north of the demilitarized zone. Kim was the focus of an elaborate personality cult inherited from his father and the founder of the DPRK, Kim Il-sung. Kim Jong-il was often the center of attention throughout ordinary life in the DPRK. On his 60th birthday, based on his official date of birth, mass celebrations occurred throughout the country on the occasion of his Hwang-up. In 2010, the North Korean media reported that Kim's distinctive clothing had set worldwide fashion trends. According to a 2004 Human Rights Watch report, the North Korean government under Kim was among the world's most repressive governments, having up to 200,000 political prisoners according to US and South Korean officials. With no freedom of the press or religion, political opposition or equal education, virtually every aspect of political, social and economic life is controlled by the government. In an August 2008 issue of the Japanese news weekly, Shukan Jendai, Waseda University professor Toshimitsu Shigemura, an authority on the Korean peninsula, claimed that Kim died of diabetes in late 2003 and had been replaced in public appearances by one or more studying previously employed to protect him from assassination attempts. In subsequent best-selling book, The True Character of Kim Jong-il, Shigemura cited apparently unnamed people close to Kim's family along with Japanese and South Korean intelligence sources, claiming they confirmed Kim's diabetes took a turn for the worse early in 2000, and from then until his supposed death 3.5 years later he was using a wheelchair. Shigemura, moreover, claimed a voice print analysis of Kim speaking in 2004 did not match a known earlier recording. It was also noted that Kim did not appear in public for the Olympic torch relay in Pyongyang on 28 April 2008. The question had reportedly baffled foreign intelligence agencies for years. Kim's three sons and his brother-in-law, along with Oh Kuk-roy, an army general, had been noted as possible successors, but the North Korean government had for a time been wholly silent on this matter. On 9 April 2009, Kim was re-elected as chairman of the National Defense Commission and made an appearance at the Supreme People's Assembly. This was the first time Kim was seen in public since August 2008. He was anonymously re-elected and given a standing ovation. On 28 September 2010, Kim was elected as General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea. Kim reportedly visited the People's Republic of China in May 2010. He entered the country via his personal train on 3rd May and stayed in a hotel in Dalian. In May 2010, Assistant U.S. Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs Kurt Campbell told South Korean officials that Kim had only 3 years to live. According to medical information that had been compiled, Kim traveled to China again in August 2010, this time with his son, foiling speculation at the time that he was ready to hand over power to his son Kim Jong-un. There was speculation that the visits of Kim abroad in 2010 and 2011 was a sign of his improving health and a possible slowdown in succession might follow. After the visit to Russia, Kim appeared in a military parade in Pyongyang on 9 September accompanied by Kim Jong-un. It was reported that Kim had died of suspected heart attack on 17 December 2011 at 8:30 am while traveling by train to an area outside Pyongyang. He was succeeded by his son Kim Jong-un, who was hailed by the Korean Central News Agency as the great successor. According to the Korean Central News Agency KCNA, during his death, a fierce snowstorm paused and the sky glowed red above the sacred Mount Pektu, and the ice on the famous lakeside also cracked so loud that it seemed to shake the heavens and the earth. There is no official information available about Kim Jong-il's marital history, but he is believed to have been officially married twice and to have had 3 mistresses. He had 3 known sons: Kim Jong-nam, Kim Jong-chul, and Kim Jong-un. His 2 known daughters are Kim Sol-song and Kim Yo-jong. Like his father, Kim had a fear of flying and always traveled by private armored train for state visits to Russia and China. The BBC reported that Konstantin Pulikosevich, a Russian emissary who traveled with Kim across Russia by train, told reporters that Kim had live lobsters airlifted to the train every day and ate them with the silver chopsticks. According to a 2010 report in the Sunday Telegraph, Kim had $4 billion on deposit in European banks in case he ever needed to flee North Korea. The Sunday Telegraph reported that most of the money was in banks in the Luxembourg.